Hello, and welcome to the Outdoorsy Diva podcast. I'm your host, Lauren, the Outdoorsy Diva. Thanks for joining. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Outdoorsy Diva podcast, adventurers. So happy to have you back. We have got a fun topic today. We're going to talk about something that I've actually talked about in an earlier episode, but this time I've got a friend with me. So let's welcome Kim Hawk of Work Hard, Travel Well to the show. Kim, say hello and introduce yourself to the audience.
Hey everyone. Hey Lauren, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Kim Hawk and I created workhardtravelwell.com, and it is a travel media and online apparel website, and I provide travel tips, travel guides for busy professionals, and I seek to inspire millennial professionals to take time off and see the world.
I love that. And Kim posts really great, helpful content, getting people to use that PTO.
Yes. Yes, I think it's so important because, just making sure you don't get burnt out and things like that. So it's really important.
Absolutely. So, Kim, what sparked your love of travel?
I would say probably the first trip I took when I got into corporate America. One of the first trips I took was to visit a friend a high school classmate out in California. And I just negotiated an extra day. I didn't even have any vacation time. It was like my first job out of college. And I negotiated a day so I can have like a 4-day weekend on Labor Day weekend to go out to California to visit a friend. And basically just from there, I just started to want to like travel more. And I also had a trip early on in corporate America when I took a trip to Puerto Rico, and my friend invited me, and she paid for the whole week in Puerto Rico with points that she had earned from traveling through her job, and she was able to use for personal time off. So I'm just like, it just kind of sparked that. I had taken like small church trips when I was younger, but really didn't start to travel until I got out of the house and graduated from college. So those two trips really sparked my interest in traveling more.
And what has been your favorite destination so far? I know that's a tough question, but I have to ask.
Yeah, that's really tough. But I would have to say South Africa for now. I recently went there before the pandemic happened. I did a solo trip to South Africa and also Victoria Falls. So just going over to the continent of Africa, that was my first time going there. And I've been like talking about it ever since. I've been watching like all these South African Netflix movies and stuff. So that's like been my favorite trip. Just being over there, and I can't wait to get back. Like I've been wanting to go, and pandemic happened. I just haven't been brave enough to go that far yet during the pandemic.
And tell me about Victoria Falls. That's really high on my bucket list. What was it like?
It was awesome. I didn't do Devil's Pool because I'm not, I was a little too scared to do that. I'm sure you're going to do that, right? Is that on your list? The
absolutely. Got to do it.
Yeah. So I did just a tour of everything, but it was just nice. And being able to walk between Zimbabwe and Zambia, if you get a certain visa while you're there, you can go between the two. And so I was able to do that. So I really enjoyed my time there, and just seeing the falls. Even though I didn't do Devil's Pool, just being able to see the falls was just amazing.
Victoria Falls, that sounds so pretty. I cannot wait until I can experience that myself. I too thought I would get to the continent in 2020, and yeah, COVID.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. All right. So now I invited you not just to talk about travel in general, but a very specific type of travel, because you posted something on Instagram giving
Mhm.
people tips about vacations. And I was like, "Ooh, that's a good, juicy topic. We need to talk about that. That definitely deserves a good girl talk." So we won't assume, but what is the definition of a vacation?
Well, any trip that you take with a significant other, and even sometimes it can be situationships, spouse. So a vacation that you're taking with either one of those, spouse, significant other, situationship, somebody you just kick it with that might be exclusive, something like that.
Gotcha, gotcha. All right. So, now have you had a good vacation experience?
Yes, yes, I've had a few. Thankfully, my current boyfriend loves to travel, so um, one of our really great vacations, we actually went to London, Paris, and Brussels all in one trip, and it was good because we were able to kind of negotiate because he travels different than I do. He likes to kind of he thought we would need like 7 days in London. And I'm like, no, sir. I do not want to spend 7 days in London. When I go somewhere, especially because I don't have that much time off, I like to see as much as I can. And so I just said, hey, let's go to Paris. And then I tackled on Brussels as well. And he was hesitant at first, but once the trip was over, he was just like, wow, that was great. And we did miss our flight on the way back, but it still ended up being a really great vacation because we were able to experience all of those cities and just like that was our longest trip. It was like 8 days. That was probably the longest we've traveled together.
Wow, wow. That's really good, especially that, you found a boo that is a good travel companion because that's not something you really know until you actually travel together, right?
Yes, yes, correct.
So now, have you had a vacation that was a fail, like one that went just not good?
I would say, and this is past relationships, so it wasn't really, this is why it went bad, is because there weren't any like expectations or discussions beforehand. I actually went on what I thought would be kind of a vacation with an ex at the time to go. I just was invited to a destination wedding, and I'm like, I need a date. So, like, this is someone that we still communicated, and we had talked about maybe getting back together. So we went on this vacation, and the vacation actually helped me realize that no, I do not want to get back together, if that makes sense. So it was just like I was introducing them to close friends, and it was their wedding, and I just realized that we were better off as friends, and um, yeah, I really should have just went to that wedding by myself, but for some reason I just wanted to have a date to go to a destination wedding.
Gotcha. But it wasn't that he was just like horrible and got on your nerves.
Mm,
You can plead the fifth.
no, no, it wasn't that. It was just kind of maybe I guess we just didn't. I had different expectations. Like I was thinking, like, oh, if we're talking about getting back together, it'd be a little more romantic. But I felt like I was like with my homie. So yeah.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yours isn't that bad. My
Okay.
vacation fail is in episode 16. And we talk about the blind vacation I went on. It wasn't exactly
Oh
blind,
wow.
but I
Okay.
had not met this person in real life. Like we talked online on the phone, whatever, for 4 months, and it really was
Mhm.
legit. I had a press trip invite to Jamaica.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh nice.
Pretty romantic destination, right? I didn't want to
Mhm.
go by myself. So I put it out there in a travel group that is for this
Mhm.
purpose and got a couple of inquiries. He's the one that kind of came through, everything fell together, seemed nice enough, seemed like everything would be cool. I vetted him and all of that ahead of time, with us keeping regular communication leading up to the trip. thinking everything
Mhm.
would be cool. Yeah, he just had some habits that were like horrible. It was horrible. Like he burped like all the time. Like he turned into a
Oh
frog at
no.
night. Like during the daytime, everything was cool. And at night, he just became really gross. And he
Oh
also was one
gosh.
of those people that didn't know how to like have a good time without getting completely wasted. And that ain't my style.
Oh no. Okay. Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
what? So did y'all? How long was it? The trip?
that was 4 days and 3 nights.
Okay.
So it wasn't
Wow.
too long. It wasn't too bad. He also
Mhm.
isn't adventurous like me, which really wasn't a problem because it was a press trip. So I was going to have things I would have to do on my own. And I told him that. And he would have some free
Mhm.
time to, like, go see some stuff he wanted to see. But there were certain things I was going to do. And if you don't want to do them, that's cool. I do them by myself. But like, I guess he didn't think I meant what I said. I don't know. I don't know how
Mhm.
you thought I was going to like not get in the water and snorkel. It's Jamaica. Like, come on. And it's included.
Yeah.
So of course I'm gonna snorkel.
Right.
Like that wasn't even the most adventurous type of stuff I do. I thought that was pretty mild. And now it was fine that he didn't want to. But it was just
Mhm.
the fact that he was kind of salty about the fact that I didn't want that he didn't want to and I did it without him. So yeah.
Wow.
It was an experiment to say the least.
Yeah.
Um,
Sounds
n-
like it.
Not what I'm keen to do again in that way. So now you have something to help people have good vacations, right? And plan a vacation. You've got 9 tips that you shared. So can you walk us through those?
Yes, yes. So I put in 9 tips, and I put in the first one as kind of like a fun exercise. And I have this application that I have on my website. So in the Travel Buddy application, basically is helping you be able to vet the person. So that's the first step. You need to actually vet who you're considering taking a vacation with. And the second one is discuss the budget before booking. So I would say that's important so that you don't have expectations of, oh, this is a vacation, he or she or whoever is supposed to be paying for this whole entire trip. Don't assume anything. Definitely have that discussion and do what works for you. Don't go off of social media or whatnot, but do what works best for you all. And as far as once you start discussing that, you'll understand, does this person like to stay in hospitals? Do they like to stay in Airbnbs or 4 or 5 star hotels? Are they too good for coach seats and stuff like that? So that way you kind of understand what kind of trip to expect, and you're not kind of like caught off guard when you do go on the trip. Let's see.
This all sounds really good. Honestly, a lot of this sounds like stuff that's good for vetting friends you've never traveled with before.
Yes, yes, that's true as well. And then, so number 3 is open communication. And I say that basically, again, be upfront about your expectations, things you want from the trip. So, you know, like your instance where you talked about, you already told him ahead of time that you have your activities that you're going to be doing on your press trip. So being upfront about what's going to take place on the trip or what you want out of the trip is helpful so that you know what's going on for the trip. And then as things develop throughout the trip, you can discuss them over the phone before you go. And then that way you just have that open communication leading up to the trip.
Do you find yourself wishing you could live a more adventurous life? Well, you can. I'm Lauren R. Gay, your adventure coach, and I've developed the 30-day program, 30 Days to Liftoff, to guide you out of your comfort zone and on your way to more adventures in your life. In this 30 days, you will feel empowered to live the adventurous life you desire. You will give yourself permission to break out of your box. And most importantly, you will move forward and live the life that you will design for yourself. To find out more, visit www.laurenrgay.com and book your adventure coaching session today. And now back to our show.
So number 4 is co-pack. And this is important. Usually I end up packing most of the snacks and important things for the trip anyway, but basically discuss who's going to be bringing what on the trip so that you're not bringing the same items and you're not, both bogged down. So discuss what you want to pack, and some things you're going to need just one item of, like bug spray, suntan lotion, depending on, each other. Stuff like that you can discuss so that you don't have too many things on the trip. And then also, when you're discussing the activities and packing, you'll understand, like, do I need to pack, a formal outfit, or do I need to pack certain different outfits based on what activities you're going to do for the trip.
Oh, that's key. And especially if you're traveling with a man, because I told this
Yeah.
guy you needed at least one button-up shirt for the closing dinner. And I'll be darned if I didn't come back to the room and he was supposed to be getting ready, and this joker had on a t-shirt. I was like, where are you going?
Oh, gosh.
I was like, so this is the last night. This is the closing dinner that I told you about to bring the button up for. Did you bring one? Yeah, but I just figured I'd wear this. Not with me, you're not. Sir. Like, I'm working.
So did he change?
He did, because I was like,
okay,
dude,
good.
I told you ahead of time. Like, I'm working. This is different. This isn't just, so it matters what we look like.
Yes.
You're my guest. You're not about to come down there looking frumpy and everybody else is dressed nicely. Like, nah, man. So yeah, that's clutch. So okay, I think that takes us to number 5.
Yes. Okay, so number 5, build in relaxation and healthy space into the itinerary. So although you're on this vacation and it's nice, you're, staying in the same room, you do need to have some type of just like relaxation and healthy space. And what I say by that, so like we went to Cuba one time, and literally we were kind of like, I travel, like I just said earlier, I like to like hit a lot of different things, and he's kind of like slow travel. So one moment he just like was sitting down watching TV and watching soccer, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. So I literally went into the other room and like, got some content ready, listening to music and stuff like that. So just having that kind of downtime, also that space, so you guys don't always have to be like on top of each other. You can like do your own thing and still have a great time.
I 100% agree with that.
Yes. So just do what works for you guys, and, still keep that safety in mind. Not saying like you guys need to go to different, different tours and things like that, but just keep that in mind to build in some type of downtime and healthy space into the itinerary. And
now,
number 6, oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. And so when you mentioned that about, like going on separate tours or whatever, like, do you think that's okay for couples to do that if they really have a different interest and they, maybe one just really doesn't want to do it?
I think it is okay, because actually, when we went to Toronto, I went up to the top of the tower there in Toronto, and that's not something he wanted to do, but he was still like in the area. So yeah, it is okay. It's just remember like safety and stuff, just depending on where you are and, how safe you feel.
Gotcha. And so you can go on to number 6.
Yes. So respect boundaries. So before the trip, you're discussing your expectations. You've already discussed through the vetting process what type of activities the person likes to do. Like, remember to respect each other's boundaries, and don't think that, just because you're on the trip, things are going to change. So if someone does not want to go skydiving or visit wild animals, or, if that's not their thing, don't think that, hey, we're here now, maybe I'll spring it on them and they'll want to do something like that. And, I know like when I just mentioned about going up to the top of the tower, he's not really keen on heights. So I'm not going to plan a full day of going to different places where, stuff that he's not wanting to do. So just make sure to respect those boundaries and don't try to like spring it on them or change their mind just because you're at the destination.
And then that also applies to like physical boundaries too, if you're not in like a relationship.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So that's why it's important to discuss all that stuff up front. So you're not thinking, hey, because we're on this vacation, things are changed. So yeah, definitely for physical boundaries too. So number 7 is create your system of organization. And it's kind of like basically need to understand who between the two of you is going to be the organized one. Who can you trust to book the right things, keep track of like tours, payments, and things like that. I know when we do a trip, I create a Google Drive folder. So we'll put all our like confirmations and things. And he's the one that's like big on printing stuff out. So he'll have stuff printed out too. So we know who, the strengths are in those areas. And that way, you have that system of organization so that you don't have any tension, especially when you're out of the country. That's the last thing you guys need is something that, is disorganized and you don't know what's going on. So it's just important to have a system of organization for both of you for the trip.
That's really good advice too. Absolutely.
And number 8 is be able to be flexible and compromise. Just we've already discussed the activities you want to do, but don't forget to like incorporate 2 on the trip, an equal amount for what the activities that someone likes to do. So just going back to some of our vacations, like he likes to see some of the baseball stadiums. Like every city we go to, he has to see a baseball stadium, see a game there. And that's not really my thing, but I'm compromising in that sense and I'll attend it. But then on the flip side, we'll do something that I like to do. And then also you have to be flexible. So you never know what can happen when you get to a destination and you just have to exercise patience. Like I talked about earlier, that trip, we missed our flight on the way back to the States from Paris. And that could have been a moment where we got frustrated with each other, lost patience, but we were like, okay, we missed our flight. Now what do we do? And we were both working together to figure out how we could get booked on a flight without having to pay some exorbitant amount, because that's what the first person told us. We would have to pay like $4,000 a piece to get on the next flight. And we're like, no. So definitely be open to changes in the trip and stuff that can happen and have exercise patience.
Yeah, I've seen Amazing Race and some of those couples, you're like, oh, they might don't make it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the last one I would say is show appreciation. So for those activities that you might have planned for each other, just make sure you say like, oh, that was a cool tour, or, thanks for picking that out. That, stuff like that can go a long way because, it ensures like future vacations, and it just kind of has that positive reinforcement that, this vacation is clicking along and there could be future vacations. So those are my tips.
That's really, really great, Kim. And this is on your blog, on your website, right?
Yes. Yep. It's on my website. It's under 9 tips for planning a vacation. And also on that same article, you can download, join the mail list to get a copy of the Travel Bay Travel Buddy application so that you can vet your potential folks for vacations.
And we'll have that link for the audience in the show notes. Okay, now tell us what some of your recommended destinations are that are good for a vacation. Maybe give us like 3.
Okay. So I would say 3. Let me try to narrow it down. I would say Paris.
If you have Paris. More, go for it.
Okay. Definitely Paris, Turks and Caicos, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. I liked both of those. And the French Riviera and Jamaica. Jamaica is actually, you mentioned there, you went there, and then that's where my vacation fell was. So I would like to go back there. That's where the destination was in Jamaica. I'd like to go back there for a different vacation, a better vacation. But yeah, those are the few that I have right now. I recommend.
That's great. And any fun trips or adventures that you have coming up for 2021 yet?
So not I'm kind of playing everything by ear. Kind of like to see how things are going right now, especially with the new rules of international travel, needing a test. Sometimes you need a test to go to the destination, and then sometimes you need definitely coming back to the U.S. You'll need a test. So playing things by ear. I was looking at maybe Disney because I was wondering about that. But you went there recently, right?
I
During the
have.
pandemic.
I had an annual pass for the last 7 years actually. So yeah, I can definitely give you the scoop on coming to Disney in a
Okay.
pandemic. Total
Okay.
transparency. I would wait on coming to Florida anytime soon.
Okay.
And let the changes from our new administration take hold because our numbers really are abysmal right now, and
Mhm.
our state leadership had the same mindset as our former federal leadership, to put it mildly. So it's
Oh
pretty
yeah, that's
bad
right.
here right now. As far as coming out of state, like if you're already here, I would be like, well, you're already risking your life, but
Oh, okay.
I would give that a minute. But maybe by the summer, you could be good. You
Okay.
might be maybe like to plan for food and wine festival. I would hope
Yes.
we're kind of
Yeah.
in some sense of normalcy by then, at least, controlled better. Um, we'll see. But yeah, for sure. I'm just down the street. So
Okay. Yeah. So that's one definitely I was thinking about because I've been wanting to get to the Star Wars thing, but researching it and I saw some stuff may not be open and you need reservations. So I kind of got
uh,
like, eh. But yeah, I'm playing everything by ear. Of course, I'd love to get back to Africa. I want to go to Ghana, but both of our passports actually expire this year, and we were holding on to them last year, thinking we were going to go somewhere in December, and now we're at a point where both of ours expire this year, and there's only certain places you can go within that that don't have that 6 month validity rule. So
right.
first things first is for us to both get our passports renewed.
Absolutely. Well, Kim, it has been so much fun talking to you. Thank you for coming on the show. Let people know your website and your Instagram handle so they know how to follow you and all of your great travel advice.
Yes. Again, thanks for having me. And my website is workhardtravelwell.com, and I'm on Instagram at workhardtravelwell.
Awesome. And we will also have that in the show notes so you can easily follow Kim because her advice is amazing and she's definitely travel goes. So thank you again for being on the show. And adventurers, until next time, and I will check in with you later. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, make sure you subscribe to the Outdoorsy Diva podcast. Be sure to check out Misadventures of an Outdoorsy Diva blog on outdoorsydiva.com. You can also keep up with me and my adventures, so check out all of my social channels. Find Outdoorsy Diva on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest.